Hello everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 14 of Season 2 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Motorcraft 400 here at Iowa Speedway. We're getting set for 49 laps of racing here at this .875 mile short track that has some intermediate track elements, such as the speeds. They're pretty fast here at this track. And before we look at the lineup, let's look and see how the point standings look. So after the chaotic but awesome race last week at Charlotte, the points as far as a group of guys had gotten closer after all the chaos from Charlotte, though the points lead itself grew by a few points. So Raphael Leduc leads by 13 points over both his teammate Chris Michaels and Anthony McCrory. Fourth is Dorian Facepuncher. Fifth is Emmanuel Hartnett. Sixth, Grayson Acevedo. Seventh, Nelson Thornhill. Eighth, DJ Curtis. Ninth, Charles Sanford. And then 10th, last week's winner, Austin LaPlante. Rest of the top 20 in the point standings are Joshua Sekuli, Seth Cole, JT Bryant, Nathaniel Reed, Trent Dunham, James Qualls, Kev Shearer, Benjamin Miles, David Rivera, and Matt McIntyre. And the top 20 is separated by 114 points, so a little over 2 full races. Still, anything can happen, as we still got plenty of time this season for things to happen. With that said, let's look at the lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Dylan Poteet and Cole Deaver, the top 10. Dylan Young on the pole for this week, so good qualifying run for him. And then next to him is rookie Jesse King. Row 2 is Nelson Thornhill and Paul Minnick. Row 3, Angel Alvera and Chris Stollerton. Row 4, DJ Curtis, Emmanuel Hartnett. And then row 5, Dorian Facepuncher and Mark Lane. With that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Motorcraft 400 at Iowa.
Is this on?
Yes.
Drivers, start your engines!
Excuse me, an abrupt start your engines. Cars pulling out of pit road for their one pace lap around the racetrack. So with Dylan Young on the pole, he had a decent finish last week at Charlotte when he qualified his way in. Finished in 12th, I believe. So he gained a little bit of ground on trying to get back into the top 30 in points. So we shall see if he can come out with a very good run here tonight in order to really get himself back into the top 30 in points. Because quite a few guys ahead of him in the point standings didn't make it in tonight, so he'll be able to gain quite a few points if he can stay out of trouble. But the pace car's in pit road, which means it is time to boogity, 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 go racing! Well, that was lap number 1, and Nelson Thornhill got off to an amazing run, and now is your leader, and teammate Angel Alvera going to try and follow suit to make it a Furniture Row 1-2 right now, the only 2 Furniture Row racing cars in this event. Matt Haas, I don't think made it in, or did he? Yeah, he did make it in, so never mind. All 3 of them are in, but Matt Haas in the back of the field, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him, but Nelson Thornhill's trying. He has come so close a couple times to winning races. He has not gotten a Marvel Studios Cup Series win yet in his run here in this series. Maybe tonight will be the night, as he's holding off his teammate Angel Alvera. Dylan Young fell back to 3rd, but he's immediately gaining more ground on the 2 guys ahead of him. But DJ Curtis is right there on his tail. And how about Dorian Facepuncher? He started the race, I believe, 9th, up to 7th, and he has everybody in the top 6 in his sights. It is actually pretty close between the top 10 or so. They're all very, very close together up here at the front. There's Carson Gum making a second straight qualifying run and knockout qualifying work. And he's currently running in 8th, but he still has a lot of ground to make up if he wants to get back in the top 30 in points. Heck, he comes in 40th in the points, actually. So he needs to get good finishes and make races in order to really get himself in the hunt to get back into the top 30. And Dylan Young is starting to fall back. He's fallen back quite a few spots, back to 7th now. And here comes his Young Motorsports teammate, JT Bryant. And up ahead is their teammate Dorian Facepuncher, who is now up to 4th. As the battle is going on for 2nd, Paul Minnick in the 26 underneath of Angel Alvera to split up the Furniture Row party. And Minnick should be clear now, and I think he is clear. Yes, he is. As they were nearly 3 wide in the back, and they are 3 wide. Dorian Facepuncher up against the wall. That's going to cost him a lot of spots. But he may be able to recover. We should gotta wait and see what he's going to be able to do. He falls back behind David Rivera in line. I believe that is around the 12th spot. Let's see where he got scored. Yeah, 12th. So lost a few spots, but he's still up here. But now here comes Mark Lane underneath in a battle for that spot. And up ahead, 3 wide with Benjamin Miles on the high side. And now Miles is going to get the wall. It's like almost as if they go too fast running up high and they scrape the wall little by little, but they can keep it together. They just got to be very, very careful and not really get up into the wall and then come back down into other drivers. Because when we did some testing here yesterday, we did have that problem, but they seem to have worked it out, so everything's fine. And up here at the front, we have a potential battle for the lead. Thornhill still leads, but here comes Paul Minnick in that 26 Rockstar Racing Ford. One of the all three of the Rockstar Racing cars in this race. Cole Deaver's back there somewhere along with Andrew Rich, and now Minnick thought about making the move down low, but couldn't really quite get that run. As Angel Alvera, Carson Gum, David Rivera all coming up out of nowhere up here. Jesse King trying to rebound as he's in the 6th position. Here comes Seth Cole, who definitely is looking for a good run as he fell out of the top 10 in points last week at Charlotte. And he's got a good points day going as he's now going to move up to the 6th position now. Strong run going for Seth Cole at the time being, as up here the battle for the lead continues, with Minnick still running right on the back bumper of Thornhill, and now battle for 3rd as there goes David Rivera to try to get by Carson Gum. And he gets clear of him, and now Seth Cole going to gain more spots up to potentially 4th. A lot of guys making up a lot of spots here in the races. We are getting close to the halfway point. We got about, I would say, 6 to 7 laps before we get to the halfway point of the race. And now Seth Cole going to go underneath Rivera to gain another spot for 3rd. And Seth Cole's car has come alive here in this race. I thought he had the fastest lap, but not quite. David Rivera actually has the fastest lap, and he falls back to 4th. As now Seth Cole has his sights set on the top 2 of Paul Minnick and Nelson Thornhill. Thornhill has led every lap so far, but it's still been great racing as they have caught the leaders quite a few times. They just haven't really been able to make a move quite just yet. Maybe they're buying their time, and now Seth Cole feels it's go time to get there as he's about to go by Paul Minnick for 2nd, but the caution is out. Oh my goodness, wait, what in the world just happened back here? We got 2 cars impaled in the wall. Grayson Acevedo and Oscar Anderson. Dorian Facepuncher, who was in the top 5 in points coming in, was involved in whatever this was. But it looks like it was only a 3-car accident, so a small crash, but 2 cars were impaled in the wall, and you had to expect pit stops to be made because pit strategy is going to be a big factor here at this racetrack. And it looks like everybody is coming into pit road, and whoa, we got a log jam back here. What in the world happened back here? Everybody just slowed down, run into everybody, and now we got more damaged cars. More cars with big-time front-end damage. I am not sure as to what in the world just happened with that. As we keep an eye on Nelson Thornhill's pit stop to see what he's going to be doing. They're taking a long time, though, but he's still going to come out first. The advantage of having the first pit stall on pit road. So the top 5 when we get back racing will be Thornhill, Seth Cole, Paul Minnick, Carson Gum, David Rivera. Kind of like what we had before the caution came out. But a 3-car wreck turned into a log jam where a lot of cars ended up getting some damage. It's just a matter of if they're going to stay up to speed from all that or not. We shall see, as we're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Iowa. Well, here's a look at what happened. They were 3 wide kind of on the front stretch, almost 4 wide. And it looked like Oscar Anderson just came down in front of Grayson Ace Veto as if he was trying to get in front of him, but just didn't realize he was that far below him. And then Dorian Facepuncher gets collected. And then right here, Ace Veto's car just grabbed the safer barrier, and it sent the car up in the air, and as a result, it forced the 82 car of Oscar Anderson to go on his side. As of the result of that, let's actually go back and look and see how this starts one more time, just so that way we make sure it's okay. Yeah, it looked like Oscar Anderson kind of got into Dorian Facepuncher a little bit as he kind of got the wall, but at the same time was maybe trying to make a move, but didn't realize the 55 was there, and just comes down and collects the 62 and causes damage for him, and then Ace Veto's car just grabbed the safer barrier, caused him to get up in the air and get stuck, and forces the 82 to go on his side. But we were very, very fortunate we didn't have more cars involved in that. And so now let's try and figure out, how did this big log jam start? Oh, it was it looked like it was with Paul Minnick, or no, Carson Gum slowed up, and he had a lot of cars trying to slow down as well and get in the pit road, and Paul Minnick was the main problem there. And whoa, up in the air was Mark Lane after he got ran into by, it looked like Dylan Young, but not very much. And then whoa, back there, Cole Deaver up in the air. Man, we got a lot of cars just running in the back of people. I see Phil Parker was up in the air. Anthony McCrory's got damage. Not good for him. Kev Shearer I see with damage. Joshua Sekuli's damaged. Can't tell if that's Emmanuel Hartnett or not, but Cole Deaver's still up on top of... Yeah, it is Hartnett. He's on top of Hartnett. And it looks like Phil Parker car was on the hood of Jessica Shelton's car. So yeah, we had a big logjam caused by cars slowing up abruptly and causing a stack-up effect. But I got a feeling a lot of those guys will not be able to run for the win, but I don't think many of them will be out of the race. We'll see what happens, but let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Iowa. Well, after that first caution, we do have quite a few drivers out of the race, and they include Anthony McCrory, Kyle Matthews, Joshua Sekuli, Kev Shearer, James Shelley, Dorian Facepuncher, Grayson Ace Veto, and Oscar Anderson, and quite a few a lap down. Looks like it's Rafael Leduc, Emmanuel Hartnett, Cole Deaver, and Phil Parker a lap down. But anyways, top 10 when we get back racing. Nelson Thornhill is your leader. Second is Seth Cole. Third is Paul Minnick. Fourth, Carson Gum. Fifth, David Rivera. Sixth is Angel Alvera. Seventh, DJ Curtis. Eighth is Jesse King. Ninth, James Qualls. 10th is Chris Dollarton. So, pace car into pit road. This is going to be an interesting restart considering we got those lap cars on the bottom. And Nelson Thornhill gets off to a pretty solid jump. If he can get in front of the 99, he should be in the clear, and he is. Leduc seems to be up to speed. Hartnett, Deaver, and Parker, perhaps not. Yeah, they're not up to speed after that log jam. But anyways, Thornhill now has a lap car between himself and the battle for second, which is Carson Gum and Seth Cole fighting, and Rafael LeDuc's the first car a lap down, and he is up to speed after the log jam. Well, let's actually look at his hood with the onboard. Yeah, he's pretty much in good shape, so he's just a lap down. He just wants to somehow find a way around the leader. Well, now he's going to have a problem, as there goes Carson Gum. Carson Gum trying to gain momentum back on the 78. David Rivera trying to go by LeDuc to keep the third spot. Seth Cole trying to rebound after he couldn't quite get going on that restart thanks to those lap machines, but now he's trying to rebound. Same with Angel Alvarez. That's the top 5 for you. And now here comes Alvaro with a run underneath the 98. Coming to the line as it's going to be 20 laps to go here at Iowa in the Motorcraft 400. And Nelson Thornhill has led every single lap here tonight, though he has had competition right on his tail. It's just that caution came out at almost the worst time for Seth Cole, because he had a run. Like, he was catching the 78 and maybe thought about making the move, but the caution came out. Carson Gum, I'm not sure he was thinking of what he was thinking of going up high. I guess he thought if he tried a different line, he might get a run, but that ended up costing him a little bit of time, and that helped reel in the 6 of David Rivera right up to the back bumper of the 19. And meanwhile, Angel Alvaro in 4th, and then you got DJ Curtis 5th, as LeDuc's still fighting. But Cole Deaver, no, he's up to speed. I guess he just got held up by Emmanuel Hartnett, so he's actually up to speed, and now he's the first car a lap down, as LeDuc and Deaver are actually battling for spots on track as they're battling around the lead lap car of Seth Cole, and now this battle for the Lucky Dog spot potentially, if they do the Lucky Dog. But the battle for the first car a lap down is going on. Actually, no, that's Paul Minnick now. Cole Deaver's actually gone way far ahead, so never mind that. Back up here at the front, Carson Gum still trying to figure out a way around the 78 car of Nelson Thornhill, as he's pretty much right there to the back bumper. He's just trying to figure out what is it he's going to have to do. But yeah, he is there, and David Rivera's been losing a little bit of ground, and he may try to regain that ground. Carson Gum had a little run right there. As we're still clean and green, Thornhill leads by 0.08 of a second. As Carson's just right there, he's just maybe he's gonna wait for it at a later lap to go around the 78, or the 78's just too strong to pass. And the 78 has been strong all night. Like I said, he has led every single lap here in this race. Despite that, it's been a really, really good race. As yeah, you see quite a few cars are not up to speed as of the result of that little log jam that happened under caution. Meanwhile, DJ Curtis up to 4th, and he may be challenging David Rivera for the 3rd spot here very soon, as he's got a big run coming to the back bumper of the 6. And you can tell he's got a run, and David Rivera at the same time trying to get a run on the 19, as the 19's been losing ground to the 78, as it's now going to be 9 laps to go here in the Motorcraft 400. And DJ Curtis is there to the back bumper of the 6 for the 3rd spot. DJ Curtis right now, who came into the race 8th in points, just moved into the top 10, trying to gain more points as well. But the highest of the top 5 in points is Nelson Thornhill, who came into the race 37 points behind Rafael Leduc. And with Leduc running in 32nd, Nelson Thornhill, if he can prevail and win this race, he will be very, very close to the points lead going into next week at Sonoma as we return to a road course. But Carson Gumb's still not giving up. And look at Cole Deaver. He has been a man on a mission to try to get his lap back, as he's now about to go by Angel Alvera. Now he has 2 cars in front of him on his mind, and Carson Gumb's still trying to gain back ground, but I don't know why he's trying to go up high. The high line is not the preferred line here at Iowa. You want to be as low as you can on the groove right there, that rubber spot of the track, the rubber line. That's where you want to run if you want to make a pass. Looking at from a spectator camera, watching the action. Oh, that was a crazy camera. Surprised it didn't get broken. But anyways, Thornhill does still lead. Carson's still there. But DJ Curtis actually gaining on both of those cars. I don't know if he's going to have enough time, as it's now 3 laps to go here in the Motorcraft 400. But the top 3 are all in like a train formation in a sense, so we could have something special planned up here between these top 3, or it's still going to be 78 as we're coming to 2 to go. 2 laps to go, and the margin's roughly the same, though Curtis is gaining ground, but Carson again going to lose ground by trying to use that high line, when I keep saying you don't want to do that. And that may have just sealed the deal right there for the 78, as we are now at the white flag. White flag is out here at Iowa. DJ Curtis right on the back bumper of the 19, but he makes the same mistake of going up high. Coming into turn 3, getting ready to come off turn 4 after several races of coming close. He finally gets it. Nelson Thornhill wins the Motorcraft 400 at Iowa. After several close calls for him this season, particularly at Canadian Tire and Dodge Motordrome, finally he pulls it off, dominated this race, led every lap, and wins here at Iowa. But still, that was a really good race. Guys could catch the leader, even though they couldn't really try, and I still bet you at the bottom of my heart, if that caution didn't come out, Seth Cole could have had a shot to get by the 78, but we'll never know. But anyways, let's look at the rest of the results. Carson Gumb, great, much-needed run in the 2nd spot. DJ Curtis came out of nowhere in the end. Maybe if we had about 10 more laps, he could have maybe made something work, but he comes out 3rd. David Rivera, another great run in the 4th spot, and then the highest finishing rookie, Angel Alvera, in 5th. Seth Cole with a great run in 6th. Paul Minnick with a solid run in 7th. Dylan Thoreau with a great run in 8th. Solid run for Matt Haas in 9th, who came back from being in the back of the field. So all 3 of the Furniture Row racing cars finished in the top 10. Really good runs for that team. And then James Qualls comes back and gets a great run in 10th. The rest of the top 20 was Dylan Young, Austin LaPlante, Sean Galligan, JT Bryant, Preston Plord, Zachary Fitzwater, Mark Lane, Jesse King, Dylan Poteet, Charles Sanford. Rest of the lead lap cars were Chris Dollerton, Jessica Shelton, Dougie Shears, Matt McIntyre, Nathaniel Reed, Chris Michaels, Johnny Gardner, and Trent Dunham. And then the next several cars finished a lap or more down. And they were Cole Deaver, Rafael Leduc, Phil Parker, Emmanuel Hartnett, Andrew Rich, and Benjamin Miles. Everybody else was out of the race after the stuff that happened during our one and only caution. And they were Anthony McCrory, Kyle Matthews, Joshua Sekuli, Kev Shearer, James Shelley, Dorian Facepuncher, Grayson Acevedo, and Oscar Anderson. Well, that does it for our coverage here tonight here at Iowa. Next week we return to road course race as we head to Sonoma for the Toyota Save Mart 350. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Sonoma. This is Levi McIntyre, signing off.